Peace. What's up, y'all? It's House of Chi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am back with some tools for your toolkit. I'm going to get started. We're going to talk about the price of power, how to maintain the proper mindset so that you can protect yourselves from a virus. But we need to talk about a few things. So, welcome. Happy Monday Eve. Make sure you get your notebooks out. This will be a nice conversation for us tonight. And I have some fun analogies for those of you who follow anime. I have something to share with you, some information, some tools that will definitely blow your mind, if not confirm certain things that you have been realizing about yourself and your health and what's going on with us right now. So as you tune in, get your notebooks ready. Notification squad, let me see the bells. Hashtag notification squad. Let everyone know that the classroom is open. And don't forget to thumbs up this video. All right? All right, all right. So let's jump in. Now, before we leave tonight, I'm going to give you a very simple mantra to help to align your higher consciousness and give you an energetic blaster. Okay? It's really simple, but this formula is for you for tonight and into the morning, because we need to make sure that we aligning ourselves with a solution rather than getting wrapped up in becoming prey. All right, because we're looking at a very strong predator right now in many different ways, and we're going to talk about that. Okay? I don't know if it's just me, but folks have definitely been in a type of mental fog, a mental daze, where it just seems like so many things are happening very quickly and kind of shaking people up, right? And one of the things that has helped you all to get ahead has been being consistent with your mantra practices. One of the powers of chanting, some of you may not know, but one of the advantages is that you are training your brain to get on a single track. Even when there are other things happening, you're getting your mind ready to, it's like taking a comb and combing it through the hair. It becomes more manageable, right? So when you brush and you're brushing everything, and I mentioned this sometime before when we talked about light and how it travels and the power of it. When all of the frequency or the light is going in one direction, and we get a very, very powerful light. But when the light is scattered, we get things all over the place. But it's not as powerful. It like can illuminate a room, but it can't actually do something. Like it cannot execute. You cannot do surgery with the soft light, the light bulb that I'm using right now. Okay? It wouldn't be efficient for that. But if I wanted to cut a limb off, I could still use light, but I'd have to use a very powerful light that is aligned. The reason why I added this price of power, is because the more you start to climb, the price and what you have to pay to stay in power of yourself is going to be higher. Let me explain. So, you have your practices. you are letting people around you know, because they're starting to see changes in your behavior, that you have a different level of power over yourself, your time, your energy, where you want to be. And then we talk about you're going to get tested. Right. Some of you have gone through the level of, well, I'm going to get tested and I'm going to lose people. I'm going to shed people. All right. And during this time where we're also talking about protecting you all from getting this virus, you'll begin to see that some of moving forward with power is not so much about losing people, but learning how to manage the people and still keep moving forward. Does that make sense? But in doing so, leadership requires that you have a very clear mind. And regardless of what you do, so long as you're not totally isolated, you're going to face having a lot going on your mind. And speaking from someone who works on a lot of people, okay, this is my profession. You think of terrain, this is his profession. He works on people. I work on people. We're constantly pulling things out of people, and we're clearing things and removing this, that, and the third, right? A lot of those things, those energies, they have to go somewhere. And so they can become little critters that create this fog. So when you're saying, I feel stressed out, it's fog. Stress physiologically creates inflammation in the body. This inflammation creates irritation. This internal irritation causes the mind to really start to get confused. But one of the key components is that when something outside of you that is not for you, but it needs a life, it needs a host, right? We talk about parasites. When it needs something to live off of, once it gets inside, all right? Once it gets inside, the grip that you think you have may not really be there. So you don't fully know that something is off. Now follow me. If you don't know that something is off, the people around you may give you clues to this. Understand? And if you don't have anyone who's able to see these differences in how you move, because you've gotten rid of everyone, right? That's why we're at a different level. People are still around you. You want to be able to understand when people are questioning you, trying to understand what's going on. When you start to see miscommunication amongst the wholeness of your family or the wholeness of like the people that you've been around, or even with your own practices, like I was on point and now for some reason I'm skipping a day, or for some reason I am procrastinating where I was seeing progress. You want to catch it as soon as possible, because the sooner you catch it is the better chance you have at correcting and keeping control over your spirit, your mind, your heart, your mind, your heart, your mind, and what is propelling you forward. Is that clear? If it's clear and it makes sense, see some ones. All right? On the spiritual journey, You can look at the work that you're doing, juxtapose to what people will tell you is going on physiologically, health-wise. So let's look at some of the risk factors to getting sick. Because when you get bitten, right, there's a little hole, right? Holes, your noses, your mouth, your eyes. They're risk factors. The number one risk factor to getting hit is stress, my friends. Stress. Write this down. I'm going to give you a list. Number one risk factor to getting hit by any spiritual predator, aka virus, stress. Number 2 on the list is a poor diet. And leave some room underneath that one. Okay? Poor diet. Because it's not just going to be a surface thing of, well, I ate some french fries and no. So poor diet. Peace to everyone who's tuning in. Number 3, you have poor hygiene. Poor hygiene. It's number 3. Last for this lesson, pre-existing conditions. Pre-existing conditions. All right? Let me see some ones if you've written that down. Make sure your notebooks are out. I'm going to proceed once you guys let me know you have that all written down. Okay. So for the most part, stress is really a matter of there's a difference between what you intend to feel inside and get done versus what is actually happening in your lives that causes stress. Resistance, stress. When they say don't stress the rope, they're not saying you're stressing the rope out, like the rope doesn't have any motion. That means you're pulling it, you're twisting it, you're creating tension. Stress is tension, consistent tension. All right? And believe it or not, mental stress will create inflammation in the body. Many times, people didn't do anything other than get mentally stressed out, and then they have huge knots and limitations in their mobility due to stress. All of that. Arthritis, heart attacks, just with stress. All right? So that's why that's number 1. Where there's tension, you need to recognize where the tension is and find a way to shake that baby off. Okay? So number 2, with poor diet. I think stress is self-explanatory, right? Number 2, poor diet. I shared with you all at some point that you can have something going on inside of you. You may have gotten bitten. The stress got to you. Okay? Here's one thing I want you to take responsibility for. No one around you who has not caught what you have can take their immune system outside of themselves and fight what you have for you. It's just not possible. Okay? The medicine that I take for whatever I've got going on is not going to treat you. So that's number 1. For those of you who are in community, whether you're in a relationship with someone or you have a tight squad, y'all have to agree to this. If somebody is sick, we cannot hold each other responsible for fighting the sickness directly. However, what we can do for ourselves and what we can do for others is make sure that the things that we ingest, not just food, the things we read, the things we listen to, the things we watch, the conversations we participate in, the things we write, those are all things being eaten up by all of the senses. And it's important to understand that the senses are where your spirit eats. Okay? Your spirit eats all of those things. So right now, family, is very important that you understand that having a poor diet will make you susceptible to the love of a virus. Okay? Because what better would it be? Like, it's a cozy environment if you're constantly arguing or you're constantly upset, you're constantly into this comparison and icky behavior, which causes stress, which causes inflammation, which shuts down the immune system. It's like Happy Land for a virus. So you want to be mindful of what you're ingesting. You follow? Thirdly, this is, if you follow, let me know. Thirdly, poor hygiene. Remember what I said about there needs to be a hole somewhere, right? There needs to be a hole. There needs to be some type of entrance to your system. Here's our computing system. It's up here, right? It's not a coincidence that through the mouth, the nose, eyes, ears, can a virus get into us, into our system? And more importantly, the virus that we're talking about affects the respiratory system. And the respiratory system is connected to your life force. Remember what I stated about how important breathing is and how much is taken for granted unless you can't breathe. And if you can't breathe, then you're dead. So here we want to be mindful of our hygiene. We have other holes, correct? So not only do we want to be in the practice of washing our hands, right? But protecting your senses, what you see, keeping it clean as much as possible. If you had no choice and you're in an office and someone's playing something that's crazy, or you scrolling down your timeline and you see something that is like low, violent, is scary talk, or whatever the case may be, cool. You know how you wash your vision? You go to that photo album that I asked you guys to make last year of the things that you want to manifest. That's how you wash your eyes. Okay? You go to your Patreon, you listen to your meditations. Somebody brings something to your ears. Something dirty. Ooh, they got something dirty to tell you. Right? How do you clean your ears? You now have a mantra or a couple, few, several, right? For resetting, for clearing. And tonight I'm going to give you something that is just making sure this area is clear and you are in touch with your inner spirit. Okay? And then your homes. Remember, as you're moving on to different energies, you want to make sure that the area stays clean. If you feel like it's not clean and there's too many things going on, you have the tools, make sure you clean. Frankincense and sage have been scientifically proven to kill bacteria and microbials in the air. So we understand that there's a spiritual component to virus behavior. All right? Now, I think that's self-explanatory. Pre-existing conditions. So how many of you have ever been depressed? How many of you experience anxiety? How many of you have experienced being angry and blowing a fuse? Pre-existing conditions. How many of you are still in the midst of trying not to put someone in a chokehold? Huh? It's a pre-existing condition. So if you're aware of this pre-existing condition, then you know where some of your holes might be. All right? I talk about these risk factors because I want you to know these are the main things that are causing the mental confusion, the fog. They're things that are pulling you away from what you're trying to execute. And in order for you to make decisions, you're going to need to be clear. Not too many of you want to be in the front of someone holding a loaded gun who's blindfolded. Am I correct? Because if your mind is foggy, then you are blind. You're blind. Your pre-existing conditions are going to tell you what you're looking at, even if it's not there. Because when you go in the dark, you can only perceive the things that you are already running inside your mind. So for my anime folks, I was watching Full Metal Alchemist, The Brotherhood, and the homunculus, who had a lot of power, like some of the most power, is envy, right? So why is envy so powerful? And what is envy's superpower? Envy's superpower is to be able to make itself look like whoever it wants to look like. All right? Whoever it wants to look like. Envy's power is being able to play on your emotions so that it can get you to do something out of confusion. And generally, when envy was about to die, it continued to try to get everyone to fight against each other. It was like, no, like, that's your enemy, that's your enemy, that's your enemy, that's your enemy. During this time, you don't want to be thinking about anyone is your enemy besides you being all the way on your square. The only enemy is really the virus of accepting that kind of energy, envy, jealousy, comparison. So for our group, y'all have to get really focused on that. So when you're seeing people outside with their mask on and you're starting to feel nervous, you got to want to know your facts. Okay? And then you want to think clearly. Because think about this. You're outside. You see people, somebody sneezes. Okay? If this is the first thing you do, oh, you've already forgotten that you've already been outside and have touched 1,000 things. And you're touching your face, your eyes. You're not thinking clearly, you're not focused. Hold your breath, walk away. But wash your hands. Wash your face. Dry your hands. Because you need to be able to remove yourself and protect your holes. Did that make sense? So here's what I'm going to give you. So that you can get yourself prepared. Because we're going to have a very strong week of mantras and meditations to make sure the child is super strapped. Because it's really not a game. It's not a game out here. All right? So for tonight, you have a very simple mantra of bija sounds. You're going to do Om Aim Brim Glom Namaha. Om Aim Brim Glom Namaha. Om Aim Brim Glom Namaha. You're going to do 108 times 3. All right? And you're just going to sit in silence for a good 10, 15 minutes once you've done it. And see what things come to the top of your mind so you can nab them. Okay? These are the bija sounds for your higher consciousness and to break through any of the good that's been trying to happen. This is like a little Drano so that we continue to keep in this flow. All right? You're going to receive a specific mantra in the Occult College with your city numbers. As like we said from the beginning, Occult College is going to be on a mission, and they will be responsible for helping to kick this virus's butt. So I want all y'all to be prepared for that and make sure you hit this mantra, and you should be feeling it in all the higher parts. I'm here down in the pineal gland. You're going to continue the same practice how you've been doing with the Hanuman chants, concentrating here deep into the mind. Here, Brim and Glum is going to touch your spinal cord. Okay? Do y'all have any questions? Let me know if y'all have any questions. And don't forget to thumbs up this video. You're going to maintain your mantra discipline. But let me know if you have any questions. Lights on. Playing with lights right now. All right, y'all. Peace, love, and bliss. Thanks for tuning in. I will see y'all later. Sayonara.